Hello, my name is Frank, and the fact that you're watching this suggests to me that you've probably just purchased a Honeywell thermostat, model number RTH2300 slash, or the series is RTH2300 or RTH221, and that you're having difficulty opening the not opening the blister pack, but opening the unit itself so that you can mount the mounting plate, the backing plate. This is the unit taken from the blister pack, and I don't need the model number anymore. When I was at Home Depot choosing which thermostat I was going to go with, this particular model, pretty much half of the blister packs that were there had already been opened and were returned, which suggested to me that lots of people had difficulty with this particular unit. So why did I choose this unit to purchase anyhow? Because it had a base cost of $20 as opposed to $50 to $70 like the other ones had, and it also had a $20 rebate. So actually the base cost I think was like $25, and the $20 rebate brought the end cost after the rebate to $5. So when you throw tax onto that, it came out to about $7 total for each of the two thermostats. A neighbor has a thermostat that isn't working properly, so when I saw that price, I thought I'll buy two of them, one for this unit and one for their place. And when I tried installing it in their place, I had so much difficulty. I thought, okay, I'm gonna first figure this out on my home, and then I'm going to go and be more professional about it when I go to their home to do the installation. When I did open this unit up, I thought I had broken it. And that was with Honeywell on the phone, because I had called Honeywell. I had ceased trying to open it on my own. I had called Honeywell and asked them, can you please walk me through this, because I feel like I'm about to break this thermostat if I continue to pull the way that it says to pull. And with them on the phone, I did continue to pull because that's their recommendation, and it flew apart. The buttons flew on the floor, and the LCD crystal flew on the floor. It came apart, and I thought for sure it was broken, and now I have to return the unit, and I was not pleased. When I came back from work, I deliver pizzas. When I came back from delivering pizzas, I was able to more patiently sit down with the unit and try to figure it out on my own, as opposed to with Honeywell helping me. I have developed a solution on how to separate the backing plate so you can mount the backing plate on the wall. And that's really all I plan to do with this video, is to show how to separate the backing plate from the thermostat with this particular model, this particular Honeywell model, so that unlike all the ones that had been returned to Home Depot, maybe the one that you purchased can actually be put into place and used. So let's do it. Now, when I was talking on the phone with Honeywell, what they said was to expect that if I lift up on the bottom, if I grab it like this and I lift the bottom, it should separate. And it does work very well with this old Honeywell unit. So I'm going to show what he was expecting would work. If I simply lift on the bottom, it separates off, and now you have access to the underside of the thermostat. That's very simple. Okay. With this one instead, I think I showed that. With this one instead of lifting straight like that, you're going to encounter a great deal of resistance. That resistance is going to come from this. In the back here, on the back side, you'll see 8 little terminals. Those 8 terminals are being clamped onto by the receptacles here. The black receptacles are clamping onto 8 terminals. Each of those 8 terminals are roughly 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch long. And they're being gripped by the receptacles. So there's more resistance on this, tons more, not tons, but considerably more resistance here than there was here. So what you need to do is you need to grab it more. You're going to, instead of lifting this way, you're going to need to rock it back and forth so that little by little, first you're going to like pull some length on this terminal, then you're going to pull some length on this terminal, then more length on this terminal, more length on this terminal. And as you're doing that all the way across, you know, this half is moving along the terminals, then this half is moving along the terminals, then that half, until you rock it back and forth enough so that you've freed it enough that you can just separate the two. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that right now. Might take me just a little bit of time to reorient my grip. Let's see. So what I'm doing here now is I'm rocking, and I've already installed batteries on this. This came with the little green cover on it, and you can see that it's saying 1238. So it was about almost 40 minutes ago that I popped the batteries into here, and it's showing that right now the temperature, wow, I don't believe that. I don't believe the temperature in the apartment right now is 80 degrees. That's probably because I've been holding it close to my body maybe, and it's picking up some of my body heat, but okay, so I think you just heard maybe 3 or 4 of the terminals just slipped a little bit. The grip on those terminals slipped a little bit. Now they slipped over here. And so we're rocking back and forth. And now it's free. Okay, and you can see I've already put the batteries in there. Here's the terminals. Let me take a look behind the camera and see what you're looking at. I don't think you can see the terminals yet. Yeah, now you can. See those long steel terminals in there? That's what these receptacles are gripping onto. So these black receptacles are gripping onto these long metal terminals. So if you don't rock it back and forth, what's going to happen is you're going to overwhelm the grips down here, which are holding the thermostat to the faceplate. This is the backing plate in my right hand. This over here is the backing plate. That's going to go on the wall. I'm going to set this down for right now. This unit has a thermostat and a faceplate. Okay, and what's going to happen if you just try to lift without rocking is you're going to separate the thermostat from the faceplate. Let's make sure that got caught on camera. You're going to separate the thermostat from the faceplate if you're not careful by rocking back and forth. Let me change that. If you try to open it without rocking it back and forth, you will separate the thermostat from the faceplate. You don't want to do that. You don't want to separate the thermostat from the faceplate, because if you do separate those two, then the buttons will come out, they'll fall out, the LCD unit will fall out. They might break. The LCD unit might break when it hits the floor or hits whatever you're working on. It didn't in my case. Everything went back together It seems to be working fine. I'm trying to prevent you from having a situation where yours breaks. Now you can see here, even though I was careful as I rocked the backing plate off of the rest of the unit, what you can see right here is that the thermostat unit is already separating from the faceplate. So I'm going to try to zoom in and show that on this side it still gripped well, whereas on this side it released. So I'm going to try to zoom the camera in on what you would need to see. See on the right side here, and we're going to lose the focus now. Come on, how do I get you to refocus? You could just do it. Please focus. Oh, man. I need a longer arm for this. And, okay, I'm going to adjust that again. There we go. Okay, so I think you can see that on the right side here, we are released from that little nub, whereas on the left side, we're clamped onto the little nub. So you can see over here, we're clamped onto the little nub, whereas over here, we are no longer clamped onto the little nub. I'm about to push it together, and you'll hear it click so that it's clamped. Okay? Now it's clamped back together. But the point I'm making is even though I gently rocked it back and forth, this one had already released, and had that one released too, it would have fallen apart, and the buttons would have fallen on the floor, these buttons would have fallen on the floor, and this crystal unit would have fallen on the floor. And you don't need to do that if you simply rock back and forth gently several times to release the unit so that it does lift apart the way that they expect it to lift apart. That's really the main point I'm trying to make with this video, is all those ones that I saw at Home Depot that had been returned because the design on this was a challenge to figure out, they didn't have to be returned. If you have a unit and you would like to use that unit, just rock it back and forth and it should come apart for you so that you can mount the base plate to the wall, the backing plate to the wall, and do a normal installation from that point forward. Thank you. I hope that helps.